live. I just wonder if I need to just pull this up a bit here. I have my roaming gear here. And let's see who rocks up today. Let's do this. The turnaround. Right. Let's see who rocks up. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's Tuesday today. It is Tuesday. And you know what? I usually do a video on a Wednesday. I usually go live on a Wednesday, and you might be thinking, Ricky, what are you doing? Hey up, Bob. I've just got my iPad here. I'm just gonna, if you bear with me, yeah. What I'll do is I'll see if I can get your comments up here on the iPad. I've got the phone here. Yeah, so I'm on the phone, and let's see if I can get this up on my iPad and just see the comments a little bit easier, because I've got completely the wrong spectacles on, completely the wrong goggles on, which is not very good. So let's have a look. Where are we? So yes, it is horrible, rainy, windy. I mean, it's sideways rain here. It's that cold, horrible sideways rain. And what happens is, when that happens, I don't want to go out. So we're away at the moment, just relaxing. But I tell you what, I've missed doing my live stream last week, and I'm going to miss it doing it this week as well. So put some comments in here. Let me just see if I can see these comments, where I can see the comments. Can I see the comments anywhere? I'm doing this all on my phone. Yes, so let me put that on live chat. Hello from Alexandria. There we go. Got Bob on there. Got the chat there. Just say hello. And like I said, the idea behind this video, I doesn't seem to be able to get the chat up here on my other one here. Oh, hang on. If I go into Chrome, hang on. I'm thinking about this. Bruce, hello, Bruce. I'm just thinking about this. I'm wondering, can I pull it up? If I pull up my channel on the iPad, if I can see the chat a little bit better. There might be a delay in it, but that's okay. We can live with that. My videos. Let's have a look. My videos, view all. Nope, not in that. I can't. Oh, this is hey up, Aaron. Right, so trying to get everything in here. It's not my usual setup. And just see who is knocking about, really. And like I say, it's really horrible out here. I wonder if I could turn around there. That's what we're dealing with, yeah. And it's like it's just rainy, sideways rain. It's grim. It's grim. It's not good. So I thought, I'm bored. Hiya, Jeffrey. I thought, I'm bored, so I'll pop on and I'll do a little live stream and just see how things go with this. I'll probably trim the beginning of this off just to cut the waffle off if you want to watch this as a lesson. Now, I should mention, I'm tuned in E flat here as well. So E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, we've got B flat and an E flat again there. So although it sounds in tune this way, it's actually all a half step down. So bear that in mind. So what I really wanted to do with this idea, I just wanted to share something with you. One, I'm bored, it's raining, I can't go out. And two, I just thought, I'm missing you guys, on the old live streams. So let's do this. So I thought, let's put a little video out there. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about the turnaround. We've done the turnaround before on the channel, and we talked about it before in a blues. Now let me just play what I'm thinking about from a blues, and this is something that I learned from I think it was Sweet Home Chicago. Okay, so sorry Kevin, Sorry, Kevin, I just thought I'd pop on. So that was what it was from. So you hear that there? Did you hear that? Yeah, so this is the turnaround from Sweet Home Chicago. Yeah. Now this bit here has been a real source of inspiration for me for years, because the thing is, there's so much in it of itself, and it isn't just this blues thing. And you hear it all the time in blues stuff and in sort of jazz turnarounds as well. If I do it down here, I think I did it around here when I was playing a blues in E the other week. I showed you that there. So really, essentially, what we end up doing is that's an E7, and we go to an E7 down here as well. Now what we could do is we could take that idea and we can move it around. So, but what I'm doing now is I'm thinking of the 3 note shapes that I want on the G, B and E strings really. Now, not particularly thinking about triads, yes? So, but that's the chord I'm thinking of as the chord that I want to outline. So I'm thinking, I've got that A there. Now that's an A because it's from a bar chord A there, which is an E shape. So if you think about it, E shape, that's an E, this is an F, this is a G, and this is an A. So we just transpose that shape up there. But what I do is I don't want the E, A, and D string. I just want the G, the B, and the E string there. So I'm going to have those 3 there. Now what I do is, and then what you do is you move up a half step and you play a 7th chord. It looks like a D7, you know, your standard D7 that you play down here like this. But we're going to play it a half step above that chord that you are soloing on, yeah? And then what you do is you just move it up chromatically 3 frets. So you go 1, 2, 3 there. Now this is an A7. That's an A. So you get the bluesy one there. And then you get the major sound one there. So there's the major sound, there's the bluesy sound. You can turn that into a straightforward major sound as well by changing it into the D shape. Just want you to see that that's a bluesy D shape there. Hopefully you can see that there, guys. Yeah, so there's the D shape, but that is an A chord. Because remember, chords move like notes. So this is D, this is E, this is F, this is G, and this is A. Okay, now what I do to make this into a bluesy one is take that root note, major 7, flat 7, and that's how I get it into that dominant 7th sound there. So that's an A7. So that's the range of the turnaround. So if I play it there, it goes, you can play it like that, and it's a real cliche sort of sound. But the thing that I thought was, is there a way to make it sound less cliched? Yes, and there is a way to make it sound less cliched, which I'm going to get into in a minute, but let me explain a bit more back story with this. And I did think that I thought, if I play this here, now you might hear Soul Man there, yeah, so, which is a really, really nice sound, okay? Hey up, Shauna. So we've got this A here, but what I like is, I like this B minor here, because that's from this full B minor here, so, okay? I think it might have even been a Sesame Street thing. You know, but it's a really cool sound. But it's essentially, if I was in the key of A major, what I'd be doing is I'd be going chord 1, chord 2, back to chord 1, just there like this. Now, the beautiful thing about that is that what we get is, if I'm thinking of that as my 1 chord and I know that's my 2 chord, I can play those 1 chord and that 2 chord as a triad pair. Hey up, Agelos. So I join those 2 triads together, those 2 shapes, and they form a little cluster of notes that I kind of think of as a scale. And I map them out. Now, because I'm thinking of that as being my chord 1, my key chord, my tonic, Okay. Hey up, Jeffrey. Okay. Watch this. So we go. There's my lovely A major 7 there. Now what I can do is I can take this there. Now I'm thinking to myself, I'm still basing it on this turnaround idea, but now it's become something a little bit more. I'm thinking of it as a triad pair. That's what it is really, because we've got a triad there, got a triad there. Okay, so, and basically you just join in the two together. So the way I think of triad pairs, it's really simple. It's like if you've got something that has 2 ingredients, you just mix in the 2 ingredients up. So that's ingredient 1 and that's ingredient 2. There, very, very simple. But if I mapped those out on a sheet of paper, I mapped that out and I mapped that out, that would be the full pattern, the composite pattern that I would get. So I'd get that triad there and that triad there, and I end up with that there. I know it doesn't look like any sort of scale that you generally come across, because scales tend to be these massive, sprawling things that go all over the place, and you think to yourself, is this a box pattern? Is this a 3-note per string thing? You lose that way of thinking, which is a blessed relief sometimes, you know, not to be thinking, oh, what scale am I playing? Because you're just looking there and you're just thinking, well, that's a chord, that's a chord there. Now, if I played that A major here, that's an A major 7, by the way, yeah? So what I've done is I've taken my A major chord here, I've flattened my 7 there, and I put my 3rd there, got my 5th here. So I'm playing like an A, it looks like an A minor shape there, and I just sling my first finger over onto the thick E string, muting out the A string, muting out the thin E string. However, let me just put this in, there's a little nugget. What I can do is, because of the shape of where the bar is, instead of barring all the way across, if I pull my finger over here, what I can do is I can use the meat of my finger just here to fret the note on the thick E string, and that would be, if this is the root note, this is going to give me another major 7 here. And this is something that a guy called George Van Epps did. Yeah, so what I can do is I can get another major 7 in there if I want to. So this is a little nugget. You can hear it on that thick E, that thin E string there. I just get that extra colour because I'm playing that note there. Instead of playing a root note there, just that's the major 7, but which is really nice, and it takes advantage of the fact of the hand shape there, that you might struggle to get your hand in a shape that you think, all right, okay, but that way, instead of muting out the string, you can add it in there. So why not? It's just like put more meat on the bones of the chord. So if I've got that there, then what I'm going to do is use that as my foundation there. So I've got that there, there's the B minor, put those notes in there, and it's only 6 notes, which makes it a heptatonic scale, yeah? So I've got that there. Now, if you know me, I talk about what I call the not notes, yeah? So, okay, yes, there's something sort of sound. Yeah, it is very much that sound. Now, if I've got these 2 notes here, I think to myself, well, that's a not note, because you're not meant to play that note. So what I can do is I can use it. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to hang around on it. So I'm going to use it as a grace note, a crushed note, to slide into this one here. For Waka Surinang, I can move it to move down or up. Same on this string here, look. I'm on the 5th and 7th here. Yeah, so you can hear that. So I've put that on there. Now you can hear it already starts to sound really lush. And there's my A minor. Now I could be clever. And put my B minor on there. Look, that's a B minor 7. Put that finger on, because I told you I love my minor 11 chords. Yeah, so there's my root, flat 7, flat 3rd, and that's the 11 just there. Yeah, I can even go with this outside sound here with this 7 flat 5. That's a kind of a, we won't go there, there's a theory reason behind it, but it's just to know that it's a nice sound and it's easy to achieve from this minor 11. I'll pull those two fingers down there and keep common tones. That's the secret to moving between chords, is keeping common tones. So if we keep, yeah, and I keep those on there. I can keep that there and I can make some interesting sounds happen. But if I had that EPS thing there, now what I did was, as I moved up towards the original A shape here, which is sorry, the original D shape that I mentioned. It's an A, so this is an A. Remember, this is the format that we're following. I'm seeing my turnaround, that is this, yeah, and I'm reinterpreting it to be, okay, well, instead of this 7th chord here, this A7 here, I can just have an A triad here. Instead of having this G7 here, this is a G7, yeah, this G7 here, what I can do is I could just substitute it for a B minor instead, or I can have it. It doesn't matter, because you find that you'll find that what you end up doing is using one of the not notes. Yeah. There's the chord, right? Okay, so but let's move up into the next shape here. So this one, up into this A7 here, I'm thinking of this position. Now, I don't want it to sound bluesy. If I don't want it to sound bluesy, what I do is I get rid of that flat 7 there, and I end up with these sixths. Sixths. Try saying that with false teeth in, right? So what we've got, I'm at the 9th fret and I'm on the G string and the E string there. And what I'm just doing is I'm playing those two notes there. Yeah, so that gives me a 6th. And that is that. I haven't got enough frets. Yeah, I haven't got enough frets to go up there. But it's the soul man thing. I think it's the soul man thing. I think it is. Yeah. So, but the 6th. Yeah. But what I'm doing is so I'm just seeing where they live, and I'm thinking that, well, what kind of 6th have I got here? That's a major 6th, major 6th, it's a minor 6th. That's odd, really, if I think about it, because there's the major triad, but it has a minor 6th hidden inside it. This is a B minor, we can think of it as, but it has a major 6th hidden inside it. Yeah, and then we get this C sharp minor here. We could think of that there, and then it's got a 6th inside it, but change it to the A chord there using a D shape. But there, now, generally, melody moves in a kind of a stepwise motion. It's very scale-like. Yeah, apart from that, you hear it there? Yeah, that wasn't as stepwise as it could have been, because what it needs is another note in there. Yeah? And what the beautiful thing about this 6-note scale here is it means there's a bigger gap. And when you have a bigger gap, you have an interesting interval. Interesting intervals make interesting melodies. Yeah, because if it's just scale-wise and it's just stepping up and down, it can sound a bit monotonous. But that's why 6ths sound so great. So what we can do is we can use these 6ths, and then what we mentally do is eliminate the B string for now. Yeah, and pretend this is like something that happened to me regularly when I was younger, yeah, and was just starting out, and I couldn't afford guitar strings. If I broke a string, I would live with it, and then I would see, well, what would work. So what we're going to do is just imagine that B string isn't working. Yeah, it's gone. We've snapped it, and we've just got a G string and a thin E string there. Imagine it's that jumble sale, car boot sale a guitar that you found, and you think, oh right, okay, it's a good one. It's got a string missing. You can make a negotiation and get it cheaper. So here's what we do is we're going to go from jump from that G string, and then just jump in. You get these wonderful little harmonies going on here. And I think that is now what I can do is where those sixths were, I use those to create my scale. You know, I had this little pattern here. Now what I've got is I've got this one here. And I'm seeing that shape there. So the shape kind of sits in my mind as being those 2 sixths there, that chord there, that D shape there, which is an A, and this B minor here. So the 6th, yeah, 6th, B minor, and the D shape, and that forms the pattern scale there. I can include this note because I know I've got a C sharp minor there. And I can sound a little bit more traditional with that. Add this note here from a lower pattern. Yeah, gives me that 3rd there, which resolves nicely onto the 1 chord. So that A major 7 there. Yeah. Now, if you want to be clever, what you can do is you can think to yourself, what regular box pattern shape would live there as well? And I think of that as my box 4 of the major patterns that you get. Yeah. So I think that the more of the caged major scales. So I can add that on there. But really, what I kind of tend to see is I've got this here, this D shape here. I've got my box 4 if you want, if you're pentatonic. So it's really modular, but the home of it all is there, that little pattern there that I can see that lives underneath it all, and that just gives me my landmark to be able to base this all from. Yeah. Now I can get clever. I'm getting too clever there because I didn't want to go off on off the beaten track here with this, because I really just want to stick it to this pattern here. Remember, there's not notes here as well. So look, so if we think about this pattern. Now I like that major, that minor 3rd there. That there, it's a nice big interval. And then what I can do, I've got a half step here. Half steps create tension. Yeah, that's always going to be home there. I'm just thinking of that as where I'm going to. Because the thing is, I think what you've got to do with, especially with improvisation, is think to yourself, well, it's like going out for a walk. You kind of have to have an idea of where you're going to go. Okay? So no, I'm not playing left-handed. It must be because I'm on my phone and I'm doing this live and I'm looking at this way. I wonder if I can download this and flip it round or something. It's going to be confusing. I'm going to have so many comments about it. So, but I just wanted to show you this, yeah, this idea. And it's very simple. Three shapes there that we can use. We can use it there as well. So if for instance, say you wanted to blend this, let's just shift it around. I'm going to think of a blues here in G. Okay, so this is a dominant blues. So we've got that G7 there. We would have this C9. I'm going to put this as a C9 because it's nice. Yeah, right. And then I'm going to put a D7 sharp 9 on this here. But this is chord 1. This is chord 4. And this is chord 5. Okay, but the blues language you can hear there is blues all day long. It's asking and begging for. It's asking for stuff like that. So it's asking for those kind of sounds. But what we can do is we can add this here, because that's normally where that turnaround would live. Yeah, it would live there. But let's use that more melodic-eyed idea. If I get the chance, yeah, I'll flip the video if I get the chance. You see, it gives me a little bit more scope now, and I'm not just reliant on those minor blues ideas or that major blues ideas. Yeah, we're not just stuck in that ballpark, because what we can do is we can introduce more half steps. There. This is the third. There. Oh, practice regimen is getting to 2. Wonderful, that's what we want. Yeah? But you can see that it can link up with your 3-note per string stuff there, which I was thinking it does there. You know, but the thing that I like about it is, look, there's something else. Look, these are thirds. And I'm just using the G and the B string here. Now you might usually get this. So there's your turnaround. But the shift to this chord here. Yeah, on the 4 chord there. Back to the 1. And that's just using that. Change it, have it as minors. Just use it there as that triad pair. You could just use this triad pair here. Chord 2 and chord 3. Might sound a bit odd. Sounds a bit odd. Yeah? It needs this note here, you see. Yeah? Right, so we can use that on that, but it just gives you a little bit of scope. But like I said, those thirds, you can do them here as well. You see how the chord is just acting like a little stopper, and it's just guiding me. There, okay. And those thirds are sweet, okay? So, you know, you've got those sweet thirds like that. Yeah, there. Yeah, a little bit ABBA. Yeah, what is it? Fernando, is it Fernando? Yeah, Fernando, that's what it is. Yeah, so, but they're there. So look at that, that shape there is borrowed from that D shape. And that's borrowed from the bluesy pattern there. Okay, so we've got that there, okay? And then, if you like your boomer bends, they all live up here. But it just gives you a little bit of an uplift, and that's what I thought. I just wanted to show you that this idea doesn't stop there, you know? Because normally that's generally how it gets used. Right, we're doing a blues in E, okay? There's where the turnaround lives. Then it's chord 4. Yeah. Then it there, chord 5. That's generally how it gets used, but now what you've got yeah, so you've got all these different little spots that you can play this stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm just, as usual, take a sup of the brew. It is Yorkshire tea as well. I brought Yorkshire tea with me. I'm not going anywhere without my Yorkshire tea. Right, guys. Okay, so any questions? I can't see anything with these glasses. I've put the wrong glasses on. So I have to go like this and squint and all sorts. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'll do? Is if you're in PDF Club, I'll bang a little bunch of notes together for this. I'll draw something out, and then I'll plot it all, and then you can see it, and then you can implement it into your vocab. Yeah, so guys, I thought I'd just pop on. Understand the camera mirrors what you show 180 degrees. Yeah, this is the thing. I don't know why it does it. Doesn't seem to be any control for me to do that. Zoom close-ins on this one. Yeah, do that. Oh, there's lots of other things. There's hidden controls. I'm on my iPhone here. And this is the problem with Apple stuff, that it does it mirrored. Because I should be seeing things the other way around, shouldn't I? Kind of, I think. But yeah, so but this is the thing. I just had this urge to pop on and say hello, and just like drop something to keep me going, keep you going, and seeing I'm not doing a live tomorrow night. I hope you're all well out there. It's still raining. The seagulls don't seem to mind, and the surfers don't, because they're already wet. You know, that's the way it works, isn't it? So I will see you back in the we put it on the thing. You became a lefty, very talented. So drop in anytime. Yes. Yeah. I think that's about it. Wear a wetsuit. Yes. Is country music popular in the UK? It's hard to say what's popular in the UK now these days, you know. It's hard to say what's popular anywhere, isn't it? Because the way we are served music these days, it isn't the same as when I were a lad, and we used to have Top of the Pops. Because that's what it was, you know. Top of the Pops were on, and you'd see a band, and you'd go, oh, you go to school the next day, and then everybody would be talking about it. It was the same with soaps, wasn't it? I mean, in the UK, we used to have something, we still have it actually, called EastEnders, you know, and everybody used to watch it in Coronation Street, and these soaps that people would watch, and the next day you'd go into school, and it'd be like, oh yeah, did you see what happened in Coronation Street or whatever? So it would be like that, and and that's how we got these things that influence us, our cultural information. Keeping the fretboard vertical helps the sausage fingers. Yeah, it is a lovely guitar. Is this? This is my This is my little parlor. It's very, very, very nice. Do you know what I like about it? And I don't know if this is something that gets talked about. Is sometimes when you play a guitar, you can look and there is too much fretboard, if that makes sense. And you get, yes, Sean, secret live stream. What happens is there's just too much to see because, and this is, I was online to James, my video editor, earlier on today. You know, James, if you're in the fretboard fraternity, and we're talking, and we're saying that basically, you know, this is what it is. When you're playing a D chord here, you don't need to see the rest of the fretboard. You don't need to see it because this is what you're focusing on. This is your focus area. Now, you might be thinking of where you might be moving with it. But then what you do is you fill that gap in. It's a bit like driving in the fog. You know, you don't see the whole of the terrain in front of you. You're driving and you're just focusing on the main part of the road so that you don't crash or hit anything. So this is what this idea here is just focus in on all on the small bits. And I think I'm really going to really push into that idea, especially in how I'll produce my videos in the future. I've been thinking about this, mixing it up a little bit differently. So it's really, really focused in, nice and slow, you know what I mean? So yeah, and that whole thing of trying to envision the whole fretboard when all you're looking is a part of it, doesn't make sense, does it? Why think about all that when you're using just the first 3 frets? That's all you should be aware of. Okay, so it's about keeping that nice and drilled in and focused, yeah? Hey up, Capover. Yeah, the surprise live stream. I had to just bob on. I like I say, it's raining here, and I got a bit bored. I just thought, I've been reading my book, and I started doom scrolling, and then I thought, what am I doing? I just go up. I'll just come down into this room. There's natural light here. I'm in the window, and I'll do a live stream. I just say hello and all that good stuff, you know. Hey up, Scott. Yeah, so the idea, yeah, so that's what I was today. Just simple framework. Do that there. I'm having a lot of fun with it myself. Yeah, so you can hear that I know it sounds a bit jazzy when I play it like that because I'm really going into those major 7th chords. Hey up, Red Walrus. You know, so got that there. But, I mean, I could do it in bluesy chords. I could do it on a straightforward major chord, you know. Yeah. Yeah, there. Then back to the B minor, A minor, sorry, in this. So you can add that there. This 6th, they're just so sweet. They're just so sweet. Just like you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bid you adieu. Nice to see some familiar faces in the chat again. And yeah, I'll see about maybe downloading this, flipping it, and cutting some bits out. Okay, see you later, guys. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. See you later. This is weird. Look, because all you can see is my big fat sausage finger there now. Bye.